Henry Cavill as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic in the MCU. Not something I expected, like, at all, ever. But let's talk about this as a possibility. So this is a new report coming at us from the Illuminati, who actually re-reported on a report from Giant Freaking Robots. So it's actually Giant Freaking Robots report, but they're usually not really, like, trustworthy at all. So I would take this with a huge grain of salt that this is even a thing. But the fact that the Illuminati re-reported on it kind of adds some more validity. So we'll just talk about it anyway. So basically they're saying that according to their sources, Henry Cavill is supposedly in talks with Marvel Studios, not for a character you'd expect like maybe Hyperion or Sentry or even Captain Britain, but instead Reed Richards, the leader of the Fantastic Four. And yeah, again, not at all expected from me. And if this is true and this ends up being the case and Henry Cavill gets cast as Mr. Fantastic in the MCU, I don't know how to feel about it, because when I first heard it and kind of tried to process it in my head, I just thought it was a ridiculous idea, because he's not Mr. Fantastic, he's Superman. And, you know, obviously I'm still holding on to that hope that we can one day see Henry Cavill back as Superman, even though that looks very, very unlikely at this point. But I mean, even beside that fact, I just don't really see Henry Cavill as Mr. Fantastic, because I mean, even if he's not playing Superman, Henry Cavill still looks like Superman to me. Like, not only as the character, but just like, I mean, he's a big, muscly dude. And when I think of Reed Richards, I don't usually think of a big, muscular guy. I think of usually not like a super skinny guy, but definitely not like with muscles the size that Henry Cavill has. That's just not what I imagine when I think of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Now, of course, you know, could be different. You know, he doesn't have to be the way he is in the comics. The MCU never does a one-to-one translation of anything, but I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a really interesting choice, but then again, I could also kind of see it, because, I mean, you saw kind of what he did as Clark Kent in those movies. That was kind of giving off some Mr. Fantastic vibes. And apparently that video of Henry Cavill building a PC, which years ago we thought was, you know, some sort of Superman thing going on there, that apparently was an audition for Reed Richards in the MCU. I don't know. It just sounds kind of weird to me that, like, this would be a thing, because, again, we have heard rumors of Henry Cavill joining the MCU before and having conversations with Marvel Studios, but again, that's been for other roles, like specifically Captain Britain, which you just saw some artwork up on screen of, and another character like Hyperion or Sentry, which is basically Marvel's Superman, so that of course would make sense. But Mr. Fantastic is not at all one I expected. You know, obviously everybody's saying John Krasinski. John Krasinski would be the perfect MC Fantastic Four leader in Reed Richards, and I fully believe that. I loved him in Multiverse Madness, and I would love to see him return, but then again, there's the chance he doesn't, and if it's another actor taking on the role, Henry Cavill could be that actor. But again, I just don't feel it. Like, I feel like if he was in the Fantastic Four movie, I feel like he'd be better suited for, like, maybe Doctor Doom. I wouldn't mind a Henry Cavill Doctor Doom. That'd be pretty cool. But just Henry Cavill, Superman, as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. I just don't see it. But then again, like I said, anything can happen. I guess it is a total possibility. But also, this is coming from Giant Freaking Robots, so there's a huge chance this is just not real at all anyway. So but let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, guys. What do you think about this rumor, the supposed rumor, about Henry Cavill being in talks with Marvel Studios for the role of Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, in the MCU? Do you like this casting, or would you like to see someone else take on the role and see Henry Cavill as a different character in the MCU? So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.